Alright, this is a tutorial on basic tutorial on Sketchup. Things we're going to look at are lines, axis, inference, rectangles, circles, and the push and pull feature. So this is the basic layout. A couple of things we need to look at here are the lines of axis. So this green, blue, and red lines are used for giving you an idea about what you're looking at, or the angle that you're looking at. You generally have the blue line as the vertical line going straight up towards the sky, the green line going off towards the distance, and the red line going off maybe to the right here. The reason is when you start to move around your SketchUp model, you will see that things start to look a bit weird if you're not following these lines or these guidelines. And the best thing to do also is to start, when you create a new model, is to start in right in this cross section here. That way you sort of know where things are going. So that's the lines of axis. So you have blue, green, and red. Now, first is the line tool. Now the line is a very useful tool to creating basic straight lines, giving you, and they can be created to a specific measurement. So if I click on this, I can then draw a line out. Now you'll notice as soon as I go near these blue, green, or red axis lines, they will lock into that line, which is pretty useful if you want to keep things square. So what I'm going to do is, if you'll notice down the bottom here, it says length, so 0.7 of a meter. So if I go out here, I'm going to hit 1 and then hit enter. It's automatically put it out there. The next time I'll come out here, I'll zoom out a bit, and I'll come out along this red axis. Now see, if I was to press it there, it wouldn't be exactly square off this green axis, so it runs parallel with the red axis, and that's really the whole basis of SketchUp, and it's how you get things where you want them. So I'm just going to hit 1 again, and then it's out here, and then I'll know that because this is a 1 meter square that I'm creating, it'll come back on this one, and then as soon as I create a full shape, it usually fills it in with some sort of like a plane. So if you notice here now, once I spin around, you'll notice the views, why these axis lines are really good guides, because you can see where things are, you can see in relation to the horizon and all those different things there. Alright, so the next thing, which is a very important part of SketchUp, is something called inference. Now inference means that you're inferring, or you're telling SketchUp what line or what point that you're going off. And I'll give you a good example. So say if I was creating a fence off this is the ground, I was creating a fence from this point, so I'll come straight up on the blue axis. Now a couple of ways you might use inference here. It's going to allow me to put another line. I'm just going to hit escape to get rid of that. So basically, if I was to bring another line up here, I want it to be the same length as this point over here. So what I do is, if I come straight up, it automatically knows that I want to do that, and you'll see how it locks in with a little dotted line to say, if you press the button now, this line I've just created will be the exact same length as the previous line. So if I hit that again, I know when I come across here, I've got pretty much a rectangle shape. So that's what inference is, and it can be used in a number of ways. Another way to do it would be, let's say I've got a diagonal going across here. Okay, if I wanted to create another diagonal line, this is another interesting part of inference. Say I want this diagonal line to be parallel with this. I want this to be some sort of could be, just a common shape. So if I was to hold it on to this line, I'll leave it there for about a second, and then when I bring it up, you'll notice that now, because of the inference activity, I can run this line parallel to that line on the face of this object. It will lock itself. It's jumped off there for a sec. So it will pretty much put itself in there. So when I zoom around, you'll see that those two lines are now parallel with each other, and that's because all I did was hold, or just held the line over the top of the line I want it to infer to. So there's a number of different things you can do with that. So you know, I could go across here. It usually gives a midpoint. I come across here, and then I want it to, right, it's coming straight up to match off this line. You'll see the black dot over here. But what I want it actually to be level with this. So I just hold it on that point there, and then bring it back here. You'll notice that there's a little green dotted line in there. Hit that, hit that. So inference is a very good way that you can get things to be even and level. Alright, I'm just going to hit spacebar and delete all that, because if I wanted to do a rectangle like I just did, or a square, I would use the rectangle tool. So click on the rectangle tool and drag out a rectangle. One of the things that happens though is that as soon as it's square, a little dotted line will come between it, and it will say, well, that right there, it's golden section rather. So let's try to do a square. There we go. So it picks up what's square, and sometimes you want things that are exactly square. So let's, if I hit that, and it does that very quickly, which is very easy. You can always go, if I move this around so it's a bit more horizontal, now I'll do a rectangle. It should, as you'll see here, pick up. Now I'm doing this in a vertical rectangle. Now one of the things, I'm going to use inference. I'm going to go across to this point here and come straight up. Now this rectangle will be in line with these two shapes. So you see the shape that I'm creating now. Okay, so that's the basic rectangle. You can then do rectangles on the face. Now on the face means I've got this flat plane here, and if I was to put it on, whenever you see a blue dot, it means that whatever's going to be drawn will be drawn on top or on this shape or this plane. So now I can hit the arrow tool, select what that I've just done, and then delete it. We've got a little gap here now. So that can be done pretty much with anything. The line tool can do that. So if I draw on the face, just a quick object, and then I can use the arrow tool, just select that object in the middle and delete it, and you'll notice that I have a shape there. If you ever want to get the shape back, you can just draw another line connecting up halfway, and then erase the lines again using the erase tool, and that will get rid of them. Alright, delete that again. Next up, we're going to do circles. Circles can be sometimes a little frustrating, but we'll show you how to do those. So if you click on circle and get a point, so the origin point will be there, and you just drag it out for and the radius. So the radius I want is maybe 1 meter. So this is obviously a 2 meter wide circle. The circles work the same way, where you can do something on the face. So put it on the face of it. That's why the little blue dot was there. I can then, using the space bar, which is the shortcut key to the arrow, select a spot there, and you can delete it. And I might draw another one there. So these are basic shapes that you can do, and a combination of which can make some pretty interesting things. The last thing there is the basic. These are all shape tool areas here. These are all things that actually manipulate what you've created. So I've created this, circle here, and then I'm going to use the push pull to select a face. So if I click on this, you'll see that it's highlighted by all the dots. When I click that, it will then come up and down. Hit escape. I can now do the middle and pull that up and down. Okay, so push and pull pretty much allows you to select a flat surface. Now you notice that I can't do this part here because it's not a flat surface. I have to actually have a flat surface for it to be pushed or pulled. But you can pretty much create any flat surface and push or pull, although that's because it's stuck in here, it's not going to work. So I'm trying to do a rectangle, so I have to orbit. Now do it. that is vertical. Okay, so I can have push. Any flat surface can be pushed or pulled up. Okay, and the last thing is this rotate tool, okay, which is the shortcut key is O. If you hit on that and drag, you can orbit around the view. And that's pretty much it for this basic SketchUp tutorial.